Hey guys, SnowXPlux here with another unboxing video, or rather unpackaging video for the Beaver custom buttons for the Nintendo Gamecube controller. As you can see, this is the package right here, and unfortunately it has been opened because it has been rummaged by someone. Thank you, mother. But it is going to be my first time seeing what the buttons look like outside of the package. I haven't taken it out or anything, so let's get to it. So it does come in this nice little envelope with bubble wrap. I think that's a pretty standard packaging, USPS first class, so it'll fit in your mailbox if you have a mailbox. And it's always nice whenever you don't have to receive a box for a package. Now, we can take it out and see what is inside and toss this away. Bye bye, envelope. Alright, dope. Okay, so this itself is the package for the Beaver custom buttons. As you can see, they have their little business card over here. And also, I don't know if you can see, but it also has an S on the bag. So there are two different kinds of buttons that you could purchase from the Beaver custom buttons outside of the multiple colors that they have. So what the S stands for is the short buttons, and they recommend that you order either the short or taller buttons depending on what generation controller that you have. It gets a little bit confusing, but if you go to their website, it'll make a little bit more sense at battlebeavercustoms.com, I believe. Yeah. Okay, so let's get to opening it. So this is a pretty standard bag. I think we see with other custom button companies like Shinewave, and I believe Cream also uses kind of like the same bag. We have their business card right here, which is of course just a nice addition. Makes the bag actually stand upright too, and you can see all of their contact information right here, where to contact them. Also, sales at battlebeavercustoms.com, their YouTube, their Twitter, and their websites right there. So let's put this aside. Yo BBC for Beaver Customs. Okay, let's go. So let's just take a look at these buttons right now. I do have with me on my side right here original Gamecube controllers, and we could do a side-by-side comparison, but let's take a look at these. Wow, look at that. That's actually one of the biggest reasons why I wanted to purchase these custom buttons, was because of the way they made their buttons. So as you can see, that the bottom of the button right here is solid. It's just solid, but on the little part on the top, it's a bit it's clear. It's completely clear, and it makes for a really nice effect on all the buttons. Really, it just looks really nice. So you look at an angle, it's like translucent, but it's not really translucent. It's pretty nice, and also you can see the shadow of the A right there. So you can see that's not the actual mark for the A, but if you look a little bit closer, I don't know if I'll be able to focus this, so it's a bit hard. Yeah, but they actually have the A that you rub on, or the texture for the A is still there. It's just, and the shadow shadow from the sun actually hits that just right. It's pretty lovely. So we have the A button, and here is the B button. Wow, look at that. And I think this is very noteworthy, is that unlike other custom button companies, they opt to just have their buttons flat on the back. So other custom button companies like Smashproof, Shinewave, and even Cream, they have a little bit of an offset to fit the groove of the GameCube controller pad. And if you know, I might just show that. It might show the difference soon after we do the comparison. So just keep that in mind. So that's the A button. We got the B button right here. Sorry. Okay, it's flat bottom. We have the X and the Y button. So this is the Y button right here. Ooh. And this is the X button. Wow, I like that. I really like that effect that you get when you see the buttons just right on the top. It looks like it's a pearlescent white, but it's not really, because it's got that clear top. It's pretty neat. And then I think the start button, which is just white actually. It doesn't have that effect where it's clear on the top, but understandable. It might be a little bit difficult to make that kind of like clear top on something so small. So I will give them a pass on it. It's just a small white start button. Alright, so let's do a little bit of a comparison with the original GameCube controller buttons. So Battle Beaver Customs, along with other button manufacturers, if you can even call them that, they usually don't provide a D-pad. From my experience, Smashproof has been the only one that provided the D-pad, and it's actually really nice that they do. So, and yeah, I'm not too worried about having a D-pad. It's mostly just about the custom buttons, but whenever they do provide a D-pad, it's always really nice. So, right here are the Battle Beaver custom buttons, and then we have over here the original GameCube controller buttons. It's just lining up like some Lego pieces right there, and there's not too big of a difference that you can see outright. Mainly it's height. Like I mentioned before, the Battle Beaver Customs has said about their GameCube controller buttons that there's different height varying on which generation controllers you have. So let's say you have one of the earlier generation pads, they will suggest that you order their taller in quotation marks, because it's not really that much of a big difference on how tall they are, rather than getting the short buttons, which I have here, which are meant to be on the new generation controllers, which are the Smash Ball controllers, like the one that I have right here, Smash Ball controller. So let's go into the direct comparison. We will start with the A button. First thing that you notice is definitely the height. The height is very, very different. Let's see if I can get this to focus a little bit. The height is very different. But the reason for that is, as I was saying, that little offset. So you can see this offset right here is where the button stands kind of looks like it sits around the same area that the offset is for the A button, but I won't know for sure until I've put it on a controller. But you can just visually see it's very similar for the most part. The way the button feels is very spot on. I think that's very important for me, at least for custom buttons, is that if it has that kind of like OEM feel, original manufacturer feel, it really adds to like how well the build quality of the custom buttons are. So I like that. Of course, I like having that glossy finish. If you prefer like a textured, you would get like something like Shine Wave, where it's a little bit of a matte finish, but I'm a big fan of the gloss finish right here. So I really like it. Feels really just like the A button from the original GameCube controller. That's nice. Okay, so next up, let me set this aside. We got the B button right here, and of course, like I said, the height is a little bit different, but that's because of this, like all the other buttons here, the little offset. Let's see if we won't be able to do too much of a comparison to where that offset is, really. The kind of like concave button right here, since the B button is hollow for this, and this is actually just solid, like most custom buttons. So I really like it. It's just, oh wow. Similar to the A button, and it will be the case for the rest of the buttons, is that the texture will be exactly the same. The nice glossy finish texture that you have. Really enjoy it. It's and you know what, it really is light compared to I think other GameCube controller buttons, how this feels, and I think it really is because of that little like kind of lost weight that they have right here. But it might feel different when you have them put on the GameCube controller. So, and then we'll be doing that kind of like right after we check out the button comparison. Of course, we have the Y and X buttons. So here's the Y buttons, and just the same that we kind of went over it. Oh, it looks like mine has a little chip right here. That kind of sucks, but we can deal with it. No one's gonna see that. Of course, you have that little angle that Y button has. You can see it's a little bit like kind of angled down, and we got the same thing going on right here with the Y button. Man, I'm enjoying the way the buttons look. I like the clear top. It's so dope. And this is the X button right here. Look at that. Yeah, the height is definitely different. It just looks different. Yeah, but it's, you know what? It's still got that kind of like indent right here for the X button, so that's pretty neat actually. Same for the Y button. You can see there's like that little part right here. I have it. It's just kind of, I can put it right next to each other. Okay, and the start button. What's really nice about the start button also is that the start button usually has like a textured, it's not really glossy, and that is completely mimicked here on the custom start button. So you can feel that out. You guys can't really see it too much on my phone camera, sorry, but it is textured a little bit just like the original GameCube controller buttons. Yeah, it's just your tiny puny little start button. Shouldn't be too different. Alright, so I'm gonna pause the video and then go on to putting it on a GameCube controller. Boop. And alright, we are back. And wow, would you look at that. Look how it looks on the controller. It is quite, oh man, it just looks really nice. And even the start button makes dude, on a black controller, this just looks really nice. I'd have to say that. Okay, so straight off the bat, this is my first impression. Keep in mind, this is not going to be a full review until I actually get a little bit more play time on this controller, along with many other controllers that I do have. But first impression, wow, these buttons are pretty loose on the controller. In fact, while I was putting them on, I was hearing kind of like shaking from parts of the controller. I wasn't sure what it was while it was upside down, and I heard this constant shaking, and I was a little bit hesitant before I put on the screws on the controller whether the shaking was from the buttons, and it turns out, yeah, it actually is from the buttons. The buttons have a little bit, actually not just a little bit, a lot of like extra play compared to like a normal GameCube controller, which I have right here. They have a lot more play than your usual. Of course, you wouldn't hear that rattling from an original GameCube controller, but for this controller, you will. You can hear it. Of course, if you turn it upside down, the buttons aren't gonna fall out, but it definitely is something. You know, if you're walking around, you can hear your buttons shake, just like you know, if you have keys on your pocket, you could just hear that kind of shaking of that. And that could turn off some people. I don't know, it might be a big issue for you, it might not be, and it could be the price to pay for these kind of custom buttons. But it definitely is pretty off-putting for me how loose these buttons are. I'm not a big fan of buttons being like super loose, and this definitely is, for me, that is an issue. As for the height of the buttons, they actually sit pretty well in comparison of the original GameCube controller buttons. So you can see right there, it's kind of like a good comparison. So if you are going to get the short buttons, you should not fear for as long as you are getting as long as you have one of these Smash Ball controllers or new generation Smash controller, or sorry, not Smash, new generation GameCube controller buttons. They do sit fairly well, and the feedback that you get for pressing the A button feels exactly like pressing the A button on the original GameCube controller, bar the fact that you can actually feel how loose the button is. But yeah, it's pretty loose. Though yeah, you know what? I do have to say, it doesn't require any more extra force than other buttons do. So I do quite like that. I'm just not really a big fan of buttons being really loose. The start button actually feels really spot on. no complaints there. Really, the start button in general just like doesn't feel very good on the GameCube, on the original GameCube controller. So of course it's not going to feel the greatest on with a custom button. No custom buttons will be able to fix the feel for the start button, but the start button fits actually pretty nicely. Yeah, but look at that. I love the look of it. It looks just beautiful. It's like, oh, you look at this angle, it's like a clear button. Just kidding, it's actually white. Oh man, love that look. It's really nice. Alright, well, okay, so that is just my first impression and the unboxing, or rather unpackaging video. I will eventually get to making a review on the buttons, and we'll be doing a comparison video for most of the buttons. So far I have Shine Wave, I have Cream, I have Smash Proof, and now Battle Beaver custom buttons. Do look forward to that. I know I've been saying that I'm going to be doing it soon, but more buttons keep popping up and more things have been happening in my schedule, so I'm getting less playtime on every single one of these controllers, but I will try my best to get it out to you guys. Alright, so thank you for watching my video. I also want to give a quick shout out to Crustal, resident NorCal Smash 4 Mario player, and God in Doubles, for selling me this controller for 30 bucks. Smash Ball controllers, or just Smash controllers, or GameCube controllers in general, have been getting pretty rare, so really appreciate the help. Alright, peace out. Battle Beaver custom buttons.